Hi, Geminis. I am doing your 2021 intuitive tarot reading along with the major transits for you in the upcoming year. So, first I pulled a couple oracle cards. Now I'm being told that I need to pull your tarots on the live because I don't know why. You guys are just you guys are extra. I'll do that for you. Okay, and from the Divine Feminine Oracle, I got Catherine Labourne, the patroness of miraculous healing. And she says for you guys, I am ready to heal. I am worthy of the miracles meant for me. And then from the Work Your Light Oracle card deck, I got Awakening, energetic upgrades, a new way of being, and integration. And I definitely know that from my favorite Gemini that I know. Like, she is like getting so many downloads all the time, but I also think that she's done the work to be able to receive that at this time. So I'm going to talk about the thing that came out from the Muse deck for you guys right away. Actually didn't know you guys were going through a hard time until I looked at your transits. So for you, I have the Nine of Swords, Gemini. So I feel like you've been in a time, and in this deck, it's the Nine of Voices. I feel like you've been in a time that you've had long periods of introspection, long periods of not speaking about what was going on, long periods of maybe disguising your hurts and not speaking out about it, which like hurts my heart. Truly, Geminis. But you guys are receiving a rebirthing, and I'm just seeing this. She's literally looking like she's rebirthing on this. With the Justice card, you guys are receiving. I'm literally told the work you put in is what you're receiving out right now, with the Emperor as well. Yeah, whenever we have Saturn transiting something, which looks like for you guys was the 8th house. Phew. You receive the work. You're rewarded for the work that you do in that placement. And then I did receive the Queen of Materials as well, the Queen of Pentacles. So I feel like you guys are standing in yourselves. Perhaps you don't feel like I don't see anybody around her. So maybe you guys do feel very isolated, very kept apart from people that were in your tribe before. And I'm being called to the Nine of Voices again. And there's a little picture, there's a little person sleeping down in the corner of that. So I really feel like you guys have been acting like everything's been fine, only to be really, really battling some things in your head now. You guys have been in an 8th house transit since 2018, which is a huge time to be in the 8th house. Anciently, the house of despair, the house of sadness, but also the house of rebirth. Like, you go deep into yourself in order to be reborn, in order to be risen up, in order to be reincarnated, transformed. So I really feel if you guys have had a struggle for so long, since 2018, you guys have been going, you guys have had Saturn and Jupiter increasing your despair at times through your 8th house. So the fact that you guys are still moving and like functioning on a daily level really needs to be applauded. I have my Aries sun in my 8th house with my Venus conjunct my moon, and I've had Chiron hanging out in my 8th house. So the 8th house is a place of deep hurt, but deep transformation and reward. So, and I'm really seeing that through people. And I think you guys, I haven't seen the amount of deep struggle and deep maybe isolation that you guys have been in through this transit. And for such an outward sign, that must be very tough. But you guys, Geminis in general, like, you make people happy and you're like the life of the party and you're like, charismatic, really, so you can shield your inner feelings and your inner struggles, because I don't know if it's because you guys don't want to trouble other people with that, or you just don't feel like the card said that you're worthy of receiving, or maybe even trusting of receiving that healing from outside of yourself. But you guys are awakening, which makes sense if you've been in the 8th house. So I'm just going to pull some cards on camera for you guys. I'm really getting, with the 8th house especially, like, you're going to receive what you put into it. If you just shove those emotions away, if you don't deal with those emotions, like just like a balloon that tries to get held into the water, they're going to pop up even stronger. So I was told to look at the bottom of the deck. You guys got yes, just say yes. And let me see what else I can get for you here. Oh, I'm going to use the Muse deck. And I'm just going to shuffle that on camera for you guys. 5 of Inspiration. So on the cut, I got the 7 of Materials, or the 7 of Pentacles, with the 5 of Inspiration, or the 5 of Wands. So with the 7 of Pentacles, and just the way that looks, I really feel like you guys have perhaps been on a path, or perhaps been on a road that you thought was a for sure thing, but has not worked out, and has perhaps caused more isolation, or more splitting, or more chaos in your world here. So let's just see what we can get to flip out for you guys for your intuitive reading. Angel spirits, guys, please, for Gemini, whatever they most need to know. Oh, that spoke quickly. All right. And I got the 2 of Materials. So the 2 of Pentacles. And we have a bunch over here. Came out in a pile. The King of Cups, the Muse of Emotions, who feels deeply but is more concrete than I would expect an air sign to be, more not speaking about it, sitting in one space, drinking your emotions back in. And with the 2 Materials, of course, that's a card of balance, of perhaps juggling your material world with your mental world. She's not looking right at us, if you see. And I'm just being drawn to the yellow as well. Something about your stability and the self-confidence you've had in yourself at times could have been shooken up. And then we have the 6 of Voices, the 6 of Swords. And you're being held. So I really feel like you guys have been through such a, look at those points at the bottom, like a really trying time, but you're being held, and you know that you're being held at this time. Like, you're being held. It may not feel like a stable hold, but it's a loving one. And I do feel like it was some kind of transformation that you guys needed for your best to come into your happiness. Yeah, with the Sun. So you guys are going to be coming into balance with this next transit. And all the things that have haunted you, all the 8 of Voices, you're going to be leaving that in the past, being caught up in your mind, not being able to express things. You're really coming into your time where you're balanced, and the Sun is healing as well. It's actually healing of your soul, of your heart, of your mission. So maybe you're reconciling the pain you went through Forgiving things that happened in the past is just a part of what happened to you, a part of your story that you've overcome, and we're able to find stability in with the Queen of Pentacles. And the struggles that you've been through have almost hardened your outsides and like unveiled this newness. Like you've lost so much that there's no more to lose, and you're able to come up and shine who you are without being afraid of that. So that's amazing, Geminis. I resonate with that story, just being an 8th house sun, like by my birth natal chart. And I'm being told to take what's on the bottom of the deck here. So let's see that. Yeah, the 9 of materials. So you guys are going to step forward into an easier time. As long as you show who you are, as long as you show what is shining in your soul, and spread that to other people, the things that are stuck in your head, these little ideas. And I'm actually feeling pain here. So maybe you guys have had some headaches lately that literally just came on. When you're having headaches or things like that, like it's really a time to settle your nerves, to like ground more. Like it just indicates that you're too much in your head and you're thinking mind too much. I literally just started some videos on meditation because we do have a Jupiter square Uranus aspect coming up, which literally, for people that have had their nervous system compromised, it can be a really tough time mentally and in the physical body for that. So if that is the case, I recommend that you start a mindfulness practice or something soothing to you, something that soothes you. And I'm being told, well, I'm being told water, but I literally know a Gemini that like has been doing that with water. And the 5 of materials as well under that. So yeah, I feel like you guys have been left out, like unable to reach your goals, like your goals have been out of reach, or for some reason you had these dreams and you were not able to grasp them, or you were taken on the wrong path. But I'm being told that things are going into alignment for you. And the path is going to be opening up. And it's funny with the dominoes. Before I got this deck, I actually saw the second part of this year being like a step-by-step dominoes going into place. And then you have the 4 of inspiration. So the 4 of wands, you guys are going to be receiving your stability as long as you answer the call of what is in your heart with the high priestess, your internal intuition. Yeah, and then you'll receive balance. That's like the only challenge for you guys. Yeah, and then we have awakening after that. That's amazing, Geminis. Okay. Geminis are doing fine. I was a little worried once I saw your transits that you had just been through. And I didn't realize, just like the card said, sometimes you don't realize people are going through such a hard transit. Now, the transit that you just got through since 2018 in the 8th house could be about like other people's money. It could have been inheritances, could have been taxes, things you owe or things other people owe you. So you're moving, and death and rebirth, transformation. With Saturn there, in that being your Capricorn house, it could have felt like in the entire structures of your life have actually crumbled. But as for the transits coming up, you guys are going into a 9th house transit with Aquarius. You probably have already felt that. So that's a time where you could meet teachers. Like last year, I called my year the year of 100 gurus, the year of 100 spiritual teachers. And I was led to so many people that taught me this or that, and I was really led along my path. And I feel that the Geminis you guys are going through that as well. Or perhaps you are at this point where you will teach people. I find with a teaching relationship, like it's give and take. Like literally you give them something and they give you something, and it's enriching for both parties. So that's a duality you would probably resonate with. Um, so for a ninth house in Saturn, you're definitely going to have to put in the day-to-day work to receive the reward. But any work that you do put in with education or spirituality or higher learning on some level, and it doesn't have to be degreed higher learning. It could just be you looking into a subject, looking into your interests. It could be like international, especially with Aquarius. You could be reaching out internationally or spreading or learning about some spirituality that is not from your regular culture. But that is what you guys, that's what this transit is about coming up for you. And I'm just going to look at, so Mars was in Aries, which was your 11th house. So you're probably really either driven to reach out to different groups or different friend groups, or had some battles and struggles with different friend groups, or perhaps finding your tribe. Now, Neptune has been sitting in Gemini's 10th house of Pisces for a while, and it's going to stay there for a while. So there may be some confusion about your actual work in the world or what your purpose in the world is. But with you going through an 8th house transit and now Mars going into your 12th house in Taurus, I really feel like if you do the work, you're going to be able to reconcile that within yourself. And I really feel with Neptune, you have to do internal work in order to see through the fogginess. That's the only way to do Neptune. Otherwise, it's just, you're just confused. And it could be the place of self-undoing. Like I said, Mars is going into Taurus in your 12th house with Uranus there. So you guys are being called in the upcoming year to, make a purposeful steps towards going deep into your emotions, going deep into that self-healing that the cards talked about. Finding what might, the 12th house is your house of undoing too, self-undoing. So I'm being told to, and there's their verification, to look at the cycles that happen in your past, to look at the cycles that happen in your own life, and to do the work to dig deep and see where that might be completing cycles with Taurus, to the things you love, like to the material world. Where is the healing needed in the emotional and physical level? Because you guys have that ability right now, which is amazing. With Uranus there, Uranus calls you, Uranus is all about the nerves. I really recommend that Geminis, I'm sure a lot of Geminis being air signs, you guys are thinkers, but I would really recommend you finding that mindfulness practice. And it's not just the transits that I'm talking about that for. It's actually, I had a dream with my dad, and it had people just overly stressed, and not able to deal with certain things. And I literally didn't know you guys were having this transit till today. I'm an astrology student, but I don't look into things. I just got led to do that today for you guys. So find something that calms you. Find something. Now with Geminis, you guys are you're ruled by the hands. So you might, it might be calming to do something with your hands or to somehow work with earth. And that might actually be your mindfulness practice to like form or build or create. That could actually work out for you. But also, in the 12th house, like look at the structures, look at the way that you were loved and how you love, uh, the ways that you display beauty and the ways that you see beauty in other people, and really examine that from a secular level and see if there's things that hurt you in the past that you might be repeating and picking up because that wasn't healed within you. Like that's the opportunity the 12th house gives you. It is a place of unknown enemies, but if you're doing your spiritual work and if you're going into your emotions and if you're living with integrity, like Taurus is a very integral, a sign full of integrity, like you won't have to worry about that because anything that comes up against you, like you'll be divinely protected against. Just know there could be some struggles there with Mars and Taurus. Mars holds grudges. You're being asked to forgive, to see other people as being on their path as well. And you're being, and mostly you're being asked to forgive yourself and certain things that you might be protecting in a certain way. We all make mistakes, and just say, open up to those mistakes. Like that was the best thing that I have ever done in my 8th house transit, was admit that I'm a flawed person and that I don't always come from a pure spot, because most of the time humans are just reacting to their outward environment. Due to fear, they make irrational decisions trying to protect because they feel they have to protect themselves, but really it's about allowing and trusting and letting go and letting other people make their decisions, and just living kind of in better harmony, which Taurus is really good at doing. I actually feel that Taurus rules Earth. So maybe you guys are finding a more balanced synergy with Earth through the 12th house as well. Perhaps redoing the way that you live in life, the way that you consume in life. You're maybe going to be able to see that those things that you consume, the way that you live, directly impacts like your whole emotional balance. Now, Geminis know by now that you guys have the eclipse cycle on your houses. So, of course, Gemini in your first house is the North Node. Sagittarius is on the 7th house, the South Node axis. So it's not good when you're on that axis to get into one or the other extremes. With Sagittarius, you could have a lot of changes in partner relationships and contractual relationships. You guys are going into a 9th house transit, which also could involve legalities or the court system. You guys might be actually learning about law or going into some kind of field like that, but you could also be going into being led down a spiritual path as well, or communicating or learning about international things. You have the Cancer full moon coming up tomorrow, which is going to illuminate something around the way you make money, the way your health could also be the 2nd house. It could be involving a motherly type figure's health, illumination around that. And that could be something that's actually been transiting since 2019 for you guys. Let me just see if there's anything else. So you guys had a lot of struggles last year because of the cardinal cross going through, concerning the money you make versus the money you owe or other people's money. There were some struggles there, as well as your groups, your friends, your rewards, and in Aries, you wanting to go towards things, but then being limited by a need to have equality with the things that you do for fun. possibly children, your creative endeavors were perhaps bucking up against your friend groups or some kind of groups that you belong to, or maybe you were spending more time on things that you love and not enough time on things that could actually build you wealth or build you money. But it looks like that cycle is over, thank goodness. And I do believe with Jupiter going into your 10th house with Neptune, as long as you heal those wounds and as long as you're finding some kind of way to do your Neptune, which is to go deep, which is to expand, which is to kind of silence the mind and go into the subconscious areas, then you're going to be actually guided to where you need to go with this, Geminis. So that is beautiful. Some beautiful transits you have going up on coming up. Just the 9th house with the 12th house almost just like goes hand in hand with like increasing intuition. Those two houses are both ruled by Jupiter, and you have Jupiter in those. You have Jupiter going into the 9th house for you. But you're going to be able to bring the spiritual things somehow down into the material world and have that actually manifest something for you. So that's amazing. And let me see, I'm being called to pull another card. What do you guys want? All right. Let me just see what we have to top off this for you guys. No wonder I know so many Geminis that are super psychic right now. They just went through a 8th house transit. So they did the work. And we got Sekhmet, the red lady. I am pure strength. I honor my anger by giving voice to it. Yes. Like, don't keep things in. You don't have to, if you look, she's got a lion. Oh my God. So that's like an Egyptian symbol. I don't know if this might apply to one of my Geminis, I know. Don't keep things in when you're angry about them. Like, that makes it build up and actually explode, which is one of the warnings you have for the 12th house with Uranus and Mars in Taurus. You're going to be able to make a lot of progress in that area, but you have a temper with Mars and Taurus. Like, Mars and Taurus can explode, like literally explode. So please don't keep your anger in. Be able to let that out in creative ways. Being a Mars, I have stellium in Aries, so I know a lot about Mars. And it's also in my 8th house, which is ruled by Mars. Find something active to do to work off that energy before you speak it. Before you speak it out. I just did a reading for Taurus, and I told them that they could like build people up with their voices and also break people down with their voices, which is so true. They literally have that ability to do that. And I'm being told that. Let me flip one more out for you here. So just, yeah, be careful of that. Let's see, is there anything else for Geminis, please? Geminis, please, anything else? And we have Mary of Nazareth, the Mother of God. I am blessed. My courage gives birth to the divine. Yeah. That is totally exactly it. Like, you guys coming forward, unafraid with what speaks to your heart. And look how the heart is lit up there. Like, you give birth. People, the sun is the soul's movement. That's the soul's motivation, the soul's action. So when you guys feel something in your heart that you're being led to do, even though you feel like there might be judgment around it, you feel like you might not be able to do that. I need to be in this certain structured way, especially with Capricorn in your 8th house. It's your job this lifetime to kind of break away from the structures of the mother, of the parents, and do things your own way. And that's what your divine truth is. So this card really reflects that. And when you have courage to come out with that divine truth, um, you are giving birth to the divine. You are speaking whatever your soul's light is into the world, and it's then that you'll be able to see things like beautifully fall into place for you. So that's amazing, Geminis. I'm so happy that we ended on that card. So thank you so much for allowing me to do your reading, and have an amazing day.